You understand?
A little bit in here. I pick up words that you say.
Together. I think, how do you read that and don't understand that?
You tell me about it. It's my life. You tell me.
So anyhow, so Maimer Yud, and we were discussing the concept that you have all of the different ways that, all of the different proofs for the reasons why, in order to get good in this world, through the way that Hashem intends, it needs to go through a system, it needs to go through a pattern. And we said last week the 4 reasons for why it needs to go with cheshbon, because it's an primi, because it's seder, because it's enclosed in the vessel, and because it goes down to lower than its level. All of that we discussed last time. But now we're going to try to bring it back in a little bit. Every so often you need to try to bring it back to the point. And the point for now is the pasuk V'sparach B'Vavei Leimei Shalom Yali. I said at the beginning this would be an important pasuk, and it's going to keep on coming up, but right now we're just tying it back into here. So we said there's 2 ways people could get good in this world. They could get good in the way that Hashem intends, or they could get good in the way, not that Hashem doesn't intend, but in the way that Hashem doesn't care about. There's the system, and there's cheating the system, and you could cheat the system. It's not impossible to cheat the system, and the cheating the system bit was put in place for a reason. It's not out of place. But ultimately Hashem wants us to play by the system. He really wants us to cheat the system in the system. That's beside the point. You have the primi, which comes through going with the system, through going with what it says in Torah and doing mitzvahs, etc. And you have going outside of the system, which is reaching to a level where Hashem is apathetic. I think the word is apathetic.
Like tomato.
So where Hashem is apathetic to whatever it is that happens. It says in Chotas Matiful Boy, if you've done a lot of Averis, then you haven't heard Hashem. If you do a lot of mitzvahs, you haven't given him anything, and whatever reward he can give you, you're also not taking from him, because Hashem is so much loftier than the world and the little things that go on in the world. So if a person reaches that level by going outside of the system, then it's able to come to they're able to get good in this world. But we're going to say this is what a person reassures himself in his heart when he does an avera, the pasuk V'sparach B'Vavei, and we're going to explain why it's not such a good thing to do. So this is what it says: V'sparach B'Vavei Leimei Shalom Yali Ki B'shiras Libi Eilech. This is what it means when it says in the pasuk that a person will reassure himself in his heart, saying that peace will be to me because I'm going to go in the rulings of my heart. Because we asked before, we said, what is it what's the reassurance? Usually when people follow their heart, usually doesn't end up that good. Usually you need to also go with a plan. Like, it's nice to have a passion, but you need to go with a plan. So what does it mean? Because the person that does the Avera reassures himself that he's going to have peace because he's going to have all of the vitality and all of the good that he needs. But he's actually going to get more. Because he goes in the ruling of his heart. Because Dafka he's going in the way of his heart, he's not following Torah and mitzvahs. Dafka because he's not following Torah and mitzvahs. Because he's going to be able to receive such a great hashpah, such a great supply of sustenance from Hashem, from the level of makif elyon, from the level of the upper makif, the way that's very removed from the world, that Hashem, not in the way of Hashem looking in the world in a caring way, from the way of Hashem says, look, you're doing Averis, you're doing mitzvahs, I don't care, and a person can get a big hashpah from that. In the same way that Klippa and Sitra Achra gets from there, in the same way that the side that is in holiness gets from there. This happens because a person follows in the ruling of the heart, because and that's the reason that's given for why a person will be reassured. The reason why the person is reassured is because he's following in the ruling of his heart. Because through doing this he receives from the level of makif. Not in Seder Shalshos, not in the order that Hashem set up in the world for how we should get Hashpah and Torah and mitzvahs. I think we have another sefer over there.
Yes,
okay.
We do.
One more.
I go on.
So the man's face of Satzmeya, and the ending of the pasuk is so that the non-thirsty should be either added to or should be included in the thirsty. So what does it mean, the man's face of Satzmeya in this context? So the space, who lashon nirbe? Space is a lashon that means adding, according to the Radak, if I'm not mistaken. Sfeis Lashon Riba, Sfeis means adding. V'hainu sheba rava shia sitra achra nimshach riba hashpa yeser. That is to say that in the not thirsty, as we explained in previous Maimarim, is referring to the sitra achra, is referring to the other side, the side that is in holiness. It's not thirsty for godliness. It's satisfied because whatever it is that it wants, it has immediately available, like a pig in mud. That whatever it wants, it's around it. So it doesn't want for anything. So when we say L'man Sfeis, Harava Satzmeya, we're saying that there's an addition that's given to the Rava, to the Sitra Achara, to the other side. So a great hashpa, a great sustenance is given over to the other side, the side that is in holiness. More than you have with the tzmeya, with the thirsty, which is the side of holiness, which is thirsty for Hashem. So the side of holiness only receives hashpa, only receives sustenance from Hashem in the way of shalshos, in the way of things coming down from level to level until it gets very refined and lessened, and it's in a limited way. But the not thirsty, the sitra achara, the side that is in holiness, receives its vitality from above in a way that there's no calculation, there's no reasoning, because there's nothing that needs to be done, because it's receiving it anyway, because Hashem just created the world in a sense on a whim. And about this it says, that Hashem will not want to forgive him. Just to be clear, this is the continuation of the pasuk. It's in Parshas Netzavim that this is being said. As Moshe Rabbeinu giving a warning to the Yidden, and Moshe Rabbeinu says that a person will reassure himself. He's saying as a thing, don't do this. He was just to be elech, that the person will reassure himself that he'll have good because he'll get this chayas from above. And then Moshe Rabbeinu continues. The next pasuk is that Hashem will not want to forgive him. Well, so what's this saying? Well, how is this a reason not to do it? They say they're shalshos, because particularly goyim that they serve Hashem with they don't serve Hashem, they're serving Avodah Zarah. Particularly goyim are able to receive from the level of makif. They're able to receive from this external aspect, the part of the world where Hashem says, I don't care about what you guys do or what you guys don't do. It's amazing to think that a guy could pasha eat a pig sandwich on Yom Kippur, and the Eibusher just doesn't care. Hashem said, don't murder, fine. Already that's a big step in one direction. Don't murder, don't serve Avodah Zarah, all of these things. And if they do that, Hashem isn't invested in the lives of goyim so much. Hashem put them in the world. He said, make a civilization. Here's the building blocks. Here's what you need. It's more our responsibility that the goyim should keep the Shem Mitzvahs in Erech than it is their responsibility. So Hashem is pashat not invested. So as far as Hashem is concerned, let the goyim eat chazer and let the goyim sleep with all the people that are not allowed to do all of the immoral things. As far as Hashem is concerned, Hashem isn't concerned. Go for it. Hashem says go for it for the goyim. Goyim are able to receive from here. Avalo Yisrael, but not a Yid. Yisrael him be'etzim b'chinas ha'pnimis, because Yidden are from the internal aspect of Hashem. They're from the internal aspect of Eretz Yisrael comes into the world, and that's why the Yidden need to receive through an pnimi. They need to receive through the Seder. They need to receive through the order, because we're not the external aspects. We're not the things that people don't think about, or that Hashem who created the world doesn't think about. We are the intention of the world, and in the same way that you have things in the world that they're created, it's an important part of the world, but it's an important part of the world. It's not the intention of the world. It's like when you make a sandwich and you have a little bit of peanut butter left on the knife. You didn't go through all of the effort of making a sandwich in order to get a particular pattern of peanut butter on the knife. It happened, and it's important, and obviously the peanut butter sandwich experience wouldn't be the same without it, but that's not the ikr. The ikr is the peanut butter sandwich. So Hashem created the world. He created goyim, and Hashem wants that there should be a good society in the world. It's important that there be a good society in the world. That's not the ikr. The ikr is for the Yidden, and that's why He gave so many specific rules for Yidden, that we should receive our hashpah in a particular kind of way. Which calls and as it says, Hashem Ame, that a portion of Hashem is His people. We know that the name of Havaya, Hashem's 4-letter name, refers to the entire Seder Shalshos. It refers to the Yud refers to Chachma, the Hey refers to Bina, the Vav refers to the 6 Midos, and the last Hey refers to Malchus. This is a concept which is explained in many places. It's not particularly the point over here to be explained. The point is that it says Kichelech Hashem Amai, that Hashem's nation receives through the level of the name of Hashem. What's the name of Hashem? The name of Hashem over here is referring to Seder Shalshalos. That Hashem gives the Yidden dafka through Seder Shalshalos, through the order, through the chain, that Chayas comes down into this world in a primistic way, in an internal way. B'chol makom shem havaya hu b'chinas primis dafka. And in every place, the name of havaya refers to primis, refers to an internal aspect. And it says, Uv'chol b'char Hashem, Hashem chose you, but Shem Havaya, there's a bechira in the level of Shem Havaya that Hashem wants us to exist in the world in a way of primis, that we receive in a way of primis. Ki Yaakov b'char leikah, and Hashem chose Yaakov. V'inyan ha-bechira hu ha-beirush and-mevarer u'veicher b'zeh dafka. And the concept of choice is when you choose something particularly. That's what choosing is. You have different options. You choose one. Kedisa Medashava says in Medashava, Melech Sheber la'asmei mana v'amad echad v'amar v'amar gnai lau klum yesh l'chaim. So it says a king that chose for himself a portion. Someone got up and said something bad about the portion. Is the person able to live? Because the king chose it as his portion. You can't. The king chose it particularly. The king knows what he's doing, and the king, this is what's close to the king. You can't disgrace what the king chose. It means that he chose it particularly. The Elu Yisrael Chavlasim and Achalasim Sugulase, and the Yidden are Hashem's allotment, Hashem's inheritance, Hashem's unique ones, His treasure. Shnamar, as it says, Kichelech Hashem Ama Yaakov Chavon Achalase, that Hashem's nation is His portion. Yaakov is the allotment of His inheritance. And it says that Hashem that we are to be Hashem's treasure. We said in the Parshas Yisro. This is what it means that Hashem chose the Yidden, that He chose them for Himself. This is shayach, particularly in a way of primus. When you have a choice in something, it means that it's done with intention. It means that it's done in an internal way. It's not an external factor. It is the factor. It is the kernel that everything else is built around. And also, the souls of Yidden chose Hashem. The souls of Goyim could be fine. I'm not gay-phobic or whatever it is that they say. But they don't have that natural draw to Hashem. They don't have that. They're not drawn after Hashem in the way that a Yid is. They can have a connection to Hashem, etc., etc. But the soul of a Yid just has that yearning for Hashem that you don't have with a Goy. It's not I would imagine this is what gets people to convert. It's always going to be one of the mysteries to me. It's probably going to be one of the mysteries to every rabbi that does conversions or whatever it is. But people convert, and why? It's so much easier to be a Goy. You can go to a restaurant on any street corner or whatever it is. But I mean that's just one of many examples. It's definitely much more complicated. But there's a soul that a person has, and the soul just yearns for Hashem, and the soul needs to have its satisfaction. It demands it, and this is what it says. That my soul says that my portion is Hashem. And just to be clear, just a little bit of context. This is a pasuk in Eicha. This is a pasuk that was written in a book that was actually a book of Nevuah. Eicha was originally, the first 4 prakim of Eicha was a nevuah that's mentioned in Yirmiyah Paraklam involved, that Yirmiyah was in prison and he was told to dictate to his students Baruch Ben Neriah what to write down, and Baruch Ben Neriah wrote it down, and it was a book of lamentation over the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, and that was a very big political move. It was like the equivalent of an op-ed back in the day. They pushed like an op-ed that the Beis Hamikdash is going to be destroyed and we're all going to be carted down to Babel. But it's written from the point of view of Yirmiyah was experiencing the Golus, as it were. And even though he was saying all of the horrible things that he saw, if you look in Eicha Rabbah, you can see what all the things are referring to. I don't recommend that you do it until, let's say, Tisha B'Av, because it's very, very depressing stuff. But really, 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 really horrible things that happened over there. And then you get to Parak Gimel, and it says Chalki Hashem Amar Nafshi, that even though the soul is going down into Galus, even though he and Gans Kal Yisrael they're being carted down to Bavel, but Chalki Hashem Amar Nafshi, the yearning of the soul is always yearning for Hashem. And it says in the Shava Eichel Pasuk Zeh, Rabbi Yavo b'Shem Rabbi Yechanan Amar, that Rabbi Yavo said in the name of Rabbi Yechanan, the Melech that it's comparable to Lamelech Shenichnas the Medina, to a king that entered a city. V'hayu imay duchsin v'farchin v'starti lutin, and he came in with different kinds of ministers. I'm not even going to bother trying to translate these like Latinized names probably.
Governors, high officials, like just government people.
Yeah, I don't think that they know. I think they just made it up. I look, maybe ACS will comment on it. He says he describes the exact position, whatever it is. Maybe, I don't know. But he had Duchsin and Farchin, and I see this usually. I see this usually before Yud Aleph Nisan, because this is the kernel of the Maimer B'Yom Ashli Yasser, and it's Maimer from his birthday, whatever. So. But whenever it comes up, I always the three kinds of ministers. And the important people of the state were sitting in the middle of the state. One person and the people of the state were trying to figure out who they're gonna suck up to in order to get good. So one said, I'm gonna try to get the duchsin to be by me. Chad Amar, another one said, I'm not nasiv farkin legabi, and that I want the farkin by me. But Chad Amar, I'm not nasiv is tartilutin legabi, and the other one said, I want this tartilutin to be by me. There was one smart person there. Amar, he said, I'm not nasiv malka, I want the king. The chulum is chalfin, because all of them have positions that are changeable. That they come and they go. The different ministers, they could get elected or they could get fired or they can, I don't probably beheaded if we're talking about a real king. But all of the kinds of ministers, they come and they go. Umalka eini miskalif. A king doesn't get switched. Kach akom mehen evdim l'chama, mehen evdim l'levana, mehen evdim l'eitz ve'emen. Some idolaters serve the sun, some idolaters serve the moon, and some idolaters serve stone and wood, and it's not even necessarily bad for them. This is what's their ultimate goal. But you need to learn the Maimer B'Yom Hashiyasar. You can't explain this without learning the Maimer B'Yom Hashiyasar. Facts on the table. I don't know if Rabbi. I'm saying this sort of as a joke, but I don't know if Rabbi Avua is talking in the name of Rabbi Yechanan knew what Rabbi Yechanan meant without learning the Maimer B'Yom Hashiyasar. He said the statement, but you need the Maimer B'Yom Hashiyasar. The only thing is maybe he knew the Maimer B'Yom Hashiyasar back then, but. Aval Yisrael in an Eivdin Ela LaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yidden only serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hadav D'chsiv, Chalki Hashem Amar Nafshi. The Yidden only serve Hashem, and this is what it means when it says Chalki Hashem Amar Nafshi, that my portion Hashem is what my soul is talking about. V'zeu Shatera Nitna Lanu. This is what it means that the Torah was given to us. That the Torah comes from Chachma. The Inyan Torah mitzvah is Timat Tzadik Primius, Shashalmo Cheshma V'Amadidah, Shatzarach Lis B'Eifan Kafka Kaftafka. Because the Inyan of Torah and mitzvah is to say that there is some kind of order, there's some kind of rhythm in the madness and the chaos. That in the world we need to follow a certain way, and things need to be in this way and that way in a particular setup. And the Torah was given dafka to Yidden. Why? Because for all of the reasons we explained in the last Maimer, why Ma'amshach of Primius needs to come in a particular kind of way. Which, see there, it's four reasons. But for all of those reasons, because Yidden are Primius, because Yidden are connected to Hashem internally, Sai internally by Hashem, Sai internally by us. So, for all of these reasons, the Torah needs to come. The Torah is shaykh to Yidden, because the Torah is how things come down into the world in Kuntreis. Any questions?
Very clear.
Alright, so let's just do the kitzur. It's always good to have a summary. The Friedrich Rebbe wrote it for a reason.
You know, but
so a person that sins, that he thinks that he's going to be able to receive in a sustainable way from the level of makif, that is from this way that Hashem doesn't care, the same way that the Sitra Achra, the side of not holiness, receives, he's mistaken. Because Yidden are from Primis, Yidden are from the internal aspect of the world of Hashem. Because Yidden are from the Hashem's choosing the Yidden, Kaviyachal. And also, and also, the Yidden's choosing on Hashem is because of their Primis. So Hashem chooses Yidden with Primis, Yidden chooses Hashem with Primis. So you can't ignore the fact that we are the Iker to Hashem in this world, and therefore it's not sustainable for a Yid to try to receive from a place in the world where Hashem doesn't care about anything. Fine.
Perfect.